It is a special day at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh as we celebrate the legacy of former NC State head coach Kay Yow with Play for K. Today, the 25th ranked Wolfpack, winners of 8 of their last 9, take on Wake Forest. Wake won here at NC State a year ago. Welcome to the 2018 Play for K in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation to bring awareness and support for women's cancer research. An honor to be with you here at Reynolds Coliseum courtside. I'm Eric Freed alongside NC State alum Debbie Antonelli. An honor to be with you because you are an alum. You are very involved with Play for K and all it does. And of course, Kay Yow coached you here at NC State.
Oh, I had a 30-year relationship with my coach at NC State. This game, don't get me wrong, it's an important game in the standings in the ACC. It's important for NC State's resume for the NCAA. But there's more to this game than just pick and roll and defensive stops. You're going to see players play with incredible strength and courage. You're going to see it embodied on both sides. Wake Forest came in here and won this game last year. They understand this environment.
It's an emotional day on many levels, including its senior day here at NC State. And there's 2 seniors for this NC State team, led by Chelsea Nelson.
Chelsea Nelson is one of the most improved players in the ACC. Wes Moore has done another Coach of the Year job with what he lost, but what he has is a go-to player on the block who can give them a double-double. NC State's, by percentage, one of the best rebounding teams in the country.
Wake Forest is improved. They've won 3 road games in conference play, and you think Elisa Penna is one of the very best players in the conference.
She could be the best player on the floor today. Now, will she play like it? In the last 5 since the previous NC State game, a game she was in foul trouble, Elisa Penna has averaged 17 points. They will run her off staggers. They will look to get her going early. If she has a big game, Wake Forest can walk out of here with another W in this environment.
Wes Moore, big smile on his face because this team, I think, has exceeded some expectations. Look where they are right now, trying to get into that coveted top 4 in the ACC. Wake Forest also trying to move up here. And as I mentioned, they won here in this environment a year ago. We're underway here at NC State. Wake Forest in the road pink. They get the first possession.
Now, NC State will be quicker at most positions on the floor. Now, how does that manifest itself on the defensive end and on the glass?
Gina Conti coming off a great game last time out against Virginia Tech. 10 assists, no turnovers in a win last time out for Wake. 4 on the shot clock. Conti can't get it to go, and here's a rebound for NC State. You'll hear that phrase a lot, a rebound for NC State, because they're an outstanding rebounding team. Starting 5 for NC State.
Keep an eye on Ely, the point guard, number 2 in white. She will have the word hope on the back of her jersey. She's one of the most improved guards in the ACC.
Into the post, count it, and the foul. The early basket for Chelsea Nelson, the senior, along with Akila Mays, on her just a few moments ago on Senior Day. You
mentioned Senior Day, and Chelsea Nelson, as I said, is one of the most improved players. Wes Moore is terrific at player development. This is an NC State program that went to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament last year, but lost 4 impactful seniors. They were picked to finish 10th in the ACC. Charlie Cream has them on the 4 line. They got a chance to host in the NCAA tournament. That's why this game is important to them.
The foul was on Anna Udo, her first personal. Wake Forest starting 5 includes the stat sheet stuffer, Alex Sharp, leading the team in rebounding and assists in minutes, 3rd on the team in scoring. She gets Wake's first points.
Now, Wake Forest and NC State met earlier this year. NC State won. Sharp had a career-high 19. Penna and Amber Campbell, the point guard for Wake, were in foul trouble. Not much of a factor. They plan on being a factor today if they're going to win.
That shot is short, picked up by the freshman Conti, and she'll slow things down here for the Deacons. 4-9 in conference play, 3-3 on the road in conference. And the 3 from Penna.
With a hand in her face. And if she sees a big basket early, that could be trouble for NC State.
10th in the conference in scoring at 15.5 points a game. That's the 39th 3 she's made this year. On the drive, the dish, the feed by Koenig. Inside, 2 more for NC State.
Aislinn Koenig, known as a shooter, not necessarily a playmaker, but that was a terrific job, making 1 more dribble to draw help and drop it off.
And then on the inbound, Wake Forest turned it over, so an early substitution coming here for Wake as they will bring in Tyra Whitehead, and Udo will head to the bench. You see Jen Hoover in her 6th season coaching at her alma mater.
Don't let this record for Wake Forest fool you at 12-14. This is a much better team, needs a break, can't seem to close out games that they've had a chance to win this year. They're just off like 1 or 2 possessions.
The drive by Leslie is off the mark, and back the other way comes Campbell.
Super speed out of the senior, number 2, Amber Campbell. One of my former campers, Eric, from Charleston, South Carolina.
Whenever I see Charleston, South Carolina, I assume your fingerprints are on that player somewhere, somehow. Deep 3 from Penna. Oh, what did you say about the basket looking big?
A big basket. That's why I say she can be, I think, the best player on the floor today. And NC State knows that. So she's hit 2 threes contested. You got to make her put it on the floor, make a play with her feet.
There's one thing about Penna, too, Debbie. She's played well against good teams. Went for 24 against Notre Dame, 24 against Duke, 23 in another game against Duke, 20 against Louisville. Her 3 is countered by Koenig's 3.
74% of the shots that Ace Koenig takes are outside the arc. So we know what her scouting report is for Wake Forest.
By far the leader in threes made and attempted for this NC State team. Is it 3 for 3? It is.
Shoot till your arm falls off, Penna. I didn't think I was going to get that in this early in the first quarter.
9 early points for Elisa Penna.
Now, you know I like nothing better than seeing quality offense.
Oh, no question. And this game last year,
Wake Forest scored 89 points in this game. I don't remember a Wake Forest team ever scoring 89 points. That's how good they were. That's how confident they feel coming in here.
Well, they're on track for that. Wes Moore, though, knows how to coach defense. His team first in the ACC, giving up 56 points a game.
Well, and by her hoop stats, Eric, they are #1 in the nation in defensive rebounding rate. Part of that reason is because they jam and go under all screening action. They do a good job of keeping teams in front, and rebounding is an emphasis.
Wake Forest on the D, out of the zone, but then they turn it over. Unable to finish was Leslie. Packed house here at Reynolds Coliseum. They had a sellout last time against North Carolina, their last game. They've had a week here to work, 5,500. We expect more of the same here today on Play for K-Day. There's a block. Nelson gets the block. Ace Koenig back the other way.
Long and athletic. Chelsea Nelson has developed a high post game in her time at NC State, and Akila Mays just was not ready for that high-low pass. Now, these are 2 players. They work together. They do everything together.
We've seen a couple of turnovers here. NC State's behind. You've talked about it, about the emotion of the state. Senior Day plus Play for K-Day, and sometimes that can get caught up for an NC State team.
You got to get a little sweat going, you know? You and I got to get a little sweat going over. It's getting hot in here. It's great. It's a great environment.
Campbell. Blocked by Mays. And it will be NC State basketball.
Akila Mays consistently all season long has done a terrific job protecting the rim for NC State. And what that does is it allows you to extend your D a little bit. It changes how you guard certain personnel. And when you have somebody like Mays on the back row who stays out of foul trouble and does a nice job protecting inside.
50 block shots now this season for the senior out of Greensboro, 4th in the conference. Mays on the inside trying to find the basketball and gets called for the travel. Into the game for Wake Forest. This is a big addition for the Demon Deacons. Ariel Stevenson, who had missed the last 4 games with a shoulder problem. She's a member of the 1,000-point club, so she is back here today after being out for a little while for Jen Hoover.
It's great to see her back. I spoke to her before the game. You see a little tape on her left shoulder. She did have an MRI. It was more precautionary, but I know Wake Forest counts on her athleticism. She had 17 in the matchup the last time these 2 teams met.
Another look for 3. This one is banked in by Ivana Radza, the freshman out of Serbia, who's not afraid to shoot the 3. And a great start for Wake, up by 7 here in the first.
12 of their 14 points are outside the arc.
NC State looks on the inside. The reverse won't go down for Nelson. And that will get us to our first timeout. It comes with 4:34 to go in the first quarter. And the early pace set by the junior from Bergamo, Italy. Penna, not once, not twice, 3 times in the first.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the magic of Walt Disney World Resort Hotel and Infinity. Empower the drive.
Welcome back to NC State. You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and the fans turning out early here to support KYAU Cancer Fund, Play for K Day, 13th annual event here at NC State, where it all started back in the day.
12 years ago, it was Coach Yao's dream to celebrate survivors, and it's turned into this incredible event that is, as you mentioned, the epicenter of what happens this week. And we're so thankful, ESPN, and our partnership with them, that they do such a great job and the teams all around the country in their Play for K moments.
Penna kicks it outside to Stevenson. Another block for Mays. NC State trying to run back the other way. Yeah, be sure to stay with us during halftime as well. We're going to stay here at halftime for the moving ceremony at halftime, where they celebrate the survivors here at NC State every year. And that's going to be an offensive foul.
A good slip, but an even better recognition on the weak side to rotate by Chelsea Nelson. That is a big-time defensive play by the senior.
Big-time season for Westmore's team. Maybe better than expected. They lost 4 starters from last year's 23-win team. They were 10th in the preseason coaches poll, but look where Charlie Cream has them right now, a 4 seed.
2 #1 seeds out of the ACC. No league has 8 teams right now projected to be into the NCAA tournament, and that is another Coach of the Year job by Westmore to have his team in this position after being picked to finish 10th in this league.
NC State 19th in RPI right now. ACC #1 amongst conferences in the RPI.
Coming off the timeout, Westmore obviously said to his team, run them off the 3-point line. Make Wake Forest score some tough 2s.
Tyra Whitehead makes it an 8-0 run. That's ended by Nelson's jumper.
Chelsea Nelson couldn't make that shot her freshman year. She has worked. She has put the time in. She's become the anchor under which everything NC State runs offensively in their 4-out, 1-in.
Whitehead trying to find some room on the inside, back outside to Penna. 9 early points for Penna. And a traveling violation. Turnover for Wake Forest. That's their 3rd. NC State has turned the ball over 6 times here in the first quarter.
Jen Hoover, one of the greats in the history of the ACC, played at Wake Forest. At one point, she was the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in Wake Forest history, but she's recruited past that.
Yes, she's still holding on to the top 2, though, in both those categories. Good drive to the basket by Kayla Ely.
Ely has really improved, too. Very good quickness, good understanding of what Westmore wants to run offensively. And NC State was jamming and going under. Now they're hard hedging and recovering on their ball screening action. A different way to guard ball screens, which is really hard to prepare for NC State because typically they don't change.
Tough left-handed shot by Ratza, but she drew the foul.
You are taught and told as a point guard, if they don't stop you and you don't see 2 shoulders, 2 hips, you go all the way to the rim. Look how she slices through the defense and gets it off the glass.
Ratza averaging 13 minutes a game off the bench, 4 points a game. She's at that number right now. As Wake Forest on top by 6. They'll get Alex Sharp back into the game as Penna will get a rest.
You know, Eric, before the game, I asked Ely and Kiara Leslie about the names on the back of their jersey. Do you guys get to pick what you get to wear? And Ely said no, but she has hope and she was happy about it. And Leslie has strength, and I don't think there could be a better name on the back of her jersey than that.
And you've seen it. We were going to show a little bit of that as we go along. Courage has it. Now Courage steps back for a 3, also known as Koenig. I was afraid I would say, you know, it's basket by fight, but I think I'd be excused here today. There's the 3 by Leslie.
NC State seems to be settling in a little bit here. See if Amber Campbell can get going. Number 2, she's one of the all-time great scorers in the history of their program.
Ratza, travel. 4th turnover for Wake Forest. 4-point game here in the first quarter. NC State, after watching Wake Forest go on an 8-0 run, has closed the gap here on their home floor. Ely. One and done as Rotza gets the rebound. Back to Rotza. Now Sharp. Final minute of play of the first quarter. Conti. Good recovery and the block by Nelson. Shot clock at 6. Nelson on the glass kept it alive. Great defensive play by Ely to tie it up. Possession arrow, Wake Forest.
That's a really good call on the baseline by Denise Brooks. Look at the effort right here by Ely. Terrific job on the glass. Wake Forest is the 3rd best offensive rebounding team in the ACC, so you know they're going to crash. Good job defending the flex cut.
About 4 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. And it's going to be a 3-second violation as Udo was camped in the lane. 5th turnover of the quarter.
NC State with a chance for the last possession. Coming off that last timeout, Wes Moore's team has been much better defensively, running Wake Forest off the 3-point line.
Panna back in for Wake Forest. Knocked out of bounds by Wake. Defensive play made by Amber Campbell. There you see the senior from Charleston.
Yeah, 2-on-2 now. That's speed on speed right there in that matchup.
Tapped away again. Game clock down to 6.6. Wes Moore was trying to get a play in, so now they've got to figure it out for Koenig. Under 5 seconds. Oh, great find. Just couldn't hit the layup. Leslie missed it, but fought back. Count it, and the foul with 1.1 to go in the quarter.
Extra effort and strength on the glass. What a nice feed by Chelsea Nelson, and then a terrific job of staying with it by Kiara Leslie.
Well, you see what it says in the back of her jersey, right? I think that summed up what she did on that play. Strength for number 11, fighting through and finishing off the 3-point play. 6 first quarter points for Leslie. And after falling behind, a 6-0 run for NC State makes it a 1-point game at the end of 1 quarter. That wasn't a great start for Wes Moore's team, but they settled in as we settle in here in Raleigh. Back in a moment.
You find yourself fighting the toughest foe of all, cancer. You become determined, and you're going to persevere. I've had one of the greatest opportunities of my life to be a part of forming a foundation that can make a difference in the lives of so many people. We're on the same team, battling for the same cause. It's a win-win situation.
Support the Kay Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation. Donate at www.kyow.com.
As a player, one of the things I loved about her, it was always when the game was over, there was a respect level from her, even to me as an opposing post player, of what kind of game I played and how much she, admired my game. And I always thought she was just such a class act.
Something tells me that Kay Yow said a lot of good things to Jen Hoover during Jen's playing
Yes.
days.
Well, Coach Yow appreciated people that worked hard, and she recognized all the special intangibles that it took to be a player at a high level. And so even if it was the opposing team, she always showed great respect, and that's part of the reason why people were so endeared towards her, because she always had a kind word for everyone.
Including a scrappy forward that she first recruited, I'm going to say, 37 years ago? Does
Oh
that
my
sound
gosh,
right?
don't say that. She didn't even want me. Are you kidding me? I had to talk her into it.
I was doing the math, but I did have to bring out my calculator to make sure. Leslie, 8 points, and that puts NC State in front. Wolfpack got the first basket of the game, and then Wake Forest, highlighted by an 8-0 run, took the lead. And It's the first time that NC State was back in front, but it is short-lived.
Well, and NC State went a little bit smaller and quicker defending Penna, and she has not been able to get a good look since she hit those early triples, 3 of them in the first quarter, really in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Campbell getting her first points.
Little zone from Wake Forest, first time we've seen this.
Three-pointer, Leslie. And a little bit of a surprise. Right now, Wake Forest is a +3 in rebounding margin. On the season, they've been pretty good on the boards. They're a +4, but you're going against an NC State team that's +11,
right.
third in the nation.
And they're, as I mentioned before, their defensive rebounding efficiency numbers are the best in the nation.
A little bit of a sloppy play for Wake Forest. That's their 6th turnover. Leslie finding Mays.
Good strong dribble in the gap, head up, good cut to the bucket by Mays. That's a transition bucket. Wake Forest didn't get back and get set. The discipline of Mays, the terrific shot blocker, not to commit a foul there. And look at Ely all the way to the rim.
She got to the basket pretty quickly. Chance for a three-point play.
Speed and quickness. Can't teach it, but look at the left hand. With contact, keeps her focus on the rim. Now, Amber Campbell is saying, I didn't touch her. And from that angle, she might be right. And Jen Hoover has really been working the officials in this game.
You see Ely's numbers this year, right about 9 points a game. She has 5 so far in the first half. She's 6th in the conference in assists. Westmore knew he needed some players to take that next step, and she's got to be one of those players. When you think she was coming off the bench last year, 13 minutes a game, 3 points a game, but she has stepped into this point guard role and done pretty well with it.
3 seniors on the perimeter for NC State last year, and as good as that group was, they are at the same point and same record with this young team for Westmore at 20-6 to come into this game. That's why, you know, 2 of the last 3 years he's been coach of the year in the league, or 2 of the last 4, excuse me. He's got a chance to be coach of the year again this year. Jeff Walls is making a case for it. Muff McGraw is making a case for it. Louisville and Notre Dame respectively, but Westmore's in the conversation.
Chelsea Nelson a chance at the free throw line with a couple. With NC State up by 2. Tomorrow, big Monday Sonic blockbuster on ESPN. Trae Young, 23rd ranked Oklahoma will take on 13th ranked Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. That's 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Sooners beat Kansas by 5 back in January in Norman. Trae Young and Oklahoma coming up a loss yesterday. Kansas with a win over West Virginia yesterday.
Oklahoma's lost 5 in a row.
Yeah,
Trae Young had 26 the last time he played Kansas.
Foul called on Leslie. First team foul of the quarter for the Wolfpack, on top by 4, and Elisa Penna will go to the free throw line.
And Penna does a good job working off the screening action. Oh yeah, Westmore saw all ball on that one.
Crafty play by Penna. Went for a team high 20 last time out against Virginia Tech. Was 9 of 16 from the field. She came out firing in this game, already in the double figures now with 11.
She missed the first 6 games of the season with an injury, and they sort of felt like their chemistry was off a little bit. But man, she, you know, we started off the game talking about she's the best player on the floor, and she has shown it so far. She's a terrific offensive player on the Italian national team.
She's been perfect here today, Debbie. 3 for 3 from the field, all from the three-point line, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, and now a turnover for NC State. So the first few minutes of the first quarter were a little bumpy for the Wolfpack, and now a couple of bumpy moments for NC State as it's back to a 1-point game.
Going to their horn set.
Looking for Penna.
Wow.
4 for 4.
Look at Kiara Leslie is trailing that the whole time. Look at Penna set up Leslie off the screen.
Wake Forest back in front. Koenig rebounded by Sharp.
Maybe need to reverse the ball against the zone. You can get that shot on the skip.
Sharp. Shut off on the drive. Reagan Branch in the game. Got an early field goal in their first minute on the floor. They're just trying to deny Penna, but tough to do. 7 on the shot clock. Get it into Penna's hands. This will be tough to keep her perfect string going, but it's an offensive rebound for Ratza and a reset for Wake.
Back to the horn now. NC State on this ball screening action is hedging and then recovering.
Campbell can't hit on the drive, and here come the Wolfpack. Erica Cassell into the game. Another strong take to the basket, but Ely has to keep fighting, and it's saved by Ratza. Amber Campbell will slow things down for Wake Forest. 84th meeting all time between Wake and NC State. They have split the last 4 meetings, as Debbie mentioned. NC State winning January 25th at Winston-Salem.
There's the slip. And the hand check by Leslie. Watch a couple of trips ago. Penna on the weak side comes off that baseline screen. Look at the footwork that she uses to get into a rhythm of her jump shot. She is a terrific, skilled, very good offensive player.
That's a second personal foul on Leslie, so she goes to the bench with 5:25 to go here in the second quarter.
She's got a little blood on her elbow. She was trying to hide it from the officials. I don't blame her. She's been hot. Just put a Band-Aid on it. Hurry up, get me back out there.
So the cut man for Wake Forest is Scott Spernoga.
He's been there forever. Scott's terrific. He's helped a lot of student athletes in his time.
Right now, it's like, you know, today's a Daytona 500. She's like revving up trying to get out of the pits before they got the tire on her. Wes Moore was like, let's go, let's play. My team's on the floor. See North Carolina State's tournament resume very firmly in. Charlie Cream's got him at a 4 seed right now.
NC State wants to play into the double bye. This game's important to them. Wake Forest does not want to play on the first day of the ACC tournament. That makes your run really tough to the title game.
Turnover by Campbell, foul on Campbell. So this game's lost its rhythm just a little bit. Still a tight one here at Reynolds Coliseum as Campbell will head to the bench. Gina Conti is on the floor.
Gina Conti, the freshman, has more assists than points in ACC play. She's been a starter the last few games for them.
Amani Hawkins in for NC State for the first time. Getting the roll is Nelson.
The footwork, the elevation on the jumper, the catch in the mid-post and score.
NC State back in front. And a whistle and an illegal screen called on NC State. I think it's Ratza who got called for the foul. That'll get us to a timeout. 4:33 to go. Second quarter, 1-point game here in Raleigh. Big Monday lineup on ESPN2. Doesn't get much bigger than this. Triple header. Starts at 6. Florida State 2. Then at 8. Baylor taking on Texas. And then to close things out west, UCLA and Oregon. Big Monday starting tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. Debbie Antonelli will be at Baylor, Texas. That top 6 showdown.
Man, cannot wait. Baylor is 25-1. The one loss they suffered at UCLA on the road. Kim Mulkey was not on the trip. She had a family emergency with her daughter. And Lauren Cox, her second best player, did not play in that game. Okay, they could be undefeated. That's how good they are. They played Texas earlier. They handled it pretty easily. Should be really interesting going into Austin.
And with all apologies to Mr. Charlie Cream, you have Baylor as a #1 seed, do you not?
Yes, I do. I do have Baylor as a 1 seed. I think they're the fourth, one of the top 4 teams in the country. And they're going to win their league should they win tomorrow. That will put a stamp on it. Now, they're kind of like Kim Mulkey and Baylor is kind of like Bill Self in Kansas. They have dominated the Big 12.
8 to shoot here for Wake Forest. Knocked out of bounds by Chelsea Nelson. Last touch, though, by Wake, so lost out of bounds by Rotza. Of course, you're watching the 2018 Play for K in partnership with the WBCA, the V Foundation, to bring awareness and support for women's cancer research. You can get involved donating at kyao.com. And again, stay with us. Right after this quarter ends, we're going to stay right here at Reynolds Coliseum. Special presentation on the court as they celebrate the survivors. At halftime, you'll have a conversation with someone very near and dear to the KYAO Fund and to you as well.
Stephanie Glantz, who runs the fund, who's done a terrific job. If you're out there watching right now, go to your phone, go to kyao.com, take a look at our website, look at what we're doing for women's cancers. Help us. We need it. Donate. It doesn't matter what you give. It's important that you help us. Everyone has been touched by cancer. We're doing good things with the money. We're putting it into grants and research.
Penna.
And Penna's doing great things with the basketball today. That is her 4th triple.
Correct. And 5. And the one she missed was the one from about 25 feet off balance. 17 points already for Penna.
And she got fouled on a triple and hit 3 free throws. So she has been the offense for Wake Forest. NC State has not had an answer for her this afternoon.
Penna tries to sell a foul, doesn't get it. And knocking it down calmly was Ace Koenig.
Hey, you guys in Italy shoot it one way, us north of the border shoot it a different way.
Out of Surrey.
Results the same.
That's right, Surrey, British Columbia. I think the Canadians would argue they like a little contact sometimes.
Oh my goodness, come on!
20.
Elisa Penna. Wow.
20 in the first half for Penna.
Wes Moore is going to have to challenge somebody's pride at halftime. Do you want to guard her? Who wants to? She has been unbelievable in the first half. She scored their last 11 points.
Nelson has tried to keep up, Debbie. She's got 12.
It's a third different player that's tried to defend her, Eric.
Chelsea Nelson draws the assignment now, and her head's on a swivel right now. She's looking for a screen. She's looking to see where Penna's going, and Nelson did a good job.
Well, that's what you got to do. And see, Penna wasn't patient enough. Where was the screen? Because she's been in the ball screening action all game and has been very successful. See, that's a little detail right there for Wake Forest. That can be the difference between winning and losing. You've got Penna. She's hot. Here's the screen. NC State gets hung up on the screen. No help on the hedge. The next trip down the floor, another ball screen. You go under, bang. A clinic in how to shoot the 3 off ball screening action today.
And then the most recent trip.
You make her move her feet. Make her take a tough 2.
Healy at the free throw line makes the first.
But you know what, Eric? Listen, that's what I love about our game. Elisa Penna has shot the ball a million times. She's playing in a big game, and she's ready for it. She's not tired. She's barely broken a sweat.
20 points on 6 of 8 shooting so far in her 17 minutes.
Get the ice buckets ready because that arm's going in at postgame.
4-point lead for NC State. Penna came into the game needing 45 points for 1,000 in her career, by the way. So she's tracking for that in this game. Turnover, though, Penna gets called for the foul.
The one time she got frustrated. And what Wes Moore has done is he says, Dee Dee Rogers, you're a 6'1 junior. You take a turn on her. Much better job. Wake Forest isolates, clears out the side. NC State double teams are coming off the ball screen. Good adjustment by Wes Moore.
So as Mays goes to the free throw line to shoot a couple, we'll remind you we've got a lot of basketball on the schedule here today. Big matchup in men's basketball in the American this afternoon. 5th-ranked Cincinnati, 12-1 in the conference, hosting 19th-ranked Wichita State, 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and also available on the ESPN app. Off a couple of misses, a second chance here for NC State. Hawkins, a lot of confidence for the transfer from Arizona State.
Not quite the microwave, but she comes in now. She's looking to score.
She matched her career high with 14 points last time out against North Carolina, made 4 threes. She had made 4 threes in the previous 14 games combined, so perhaps that microwave heating up a little bit.
Good job by Dee Dee Rogers fighting off all that baseline screening action.
Conti back out for Sharp. 3 to shoot. Step back 3. Fighting on the glass is Udo. Sharp on the offensive glass, got knocked down.
2 big boards by Wake Forest. They have been active on the offensive glass. That is their 6th offensive rebound in the first half, and they average 15 on the season. Just terrific individual effort. You really got to box out and check out on the glass if you're NC State, because you know Wake's crashing hard.
So here is the sophomore from Australia. 67% free throw shooter. Stevenson will come back in for Wake. A reminder, coming up at halftime, the Survivor celebration here at Reynolds Coliseum. It's an extended halftime period, by the way. So be sure to stay with us. Sharp with 3 in the first half. 21 to go before halftime. Inside, and a foul called on Ratza.
Good execution by the Pack. Really good stuff right here. Good catch in traffic. Dee Rogers having an impact. Westmore calling on her late here in the second quarter. Play a couple of defensive stops or attempts on Penna, and then getting a trip to the free throw line.
Dee missed the last 2 games. So she's back, junior out of Charlotte. Of course, Rogers' family with pretty strong ties to Wake Forest. Her dad, Rodney, one of the best players in Wake's history, played in the NBA for a long time. Well, his daughter back in action for NC State. Time for a final heave. It comes from Stevenson, and she thought she had it. Caught the back of the iron, gave us a little look. We were ready to celebrate it for you, Ariel. But in the end, it's a 6-point lead for NC State. 7-1 run for the Wolfpack, and this is their largest lead of the game. Wasn't perfect in that first half for Westmore's team, especially when it came to defending the 3, which is something they normally do quite well.
Well, I know Westmore, he has done a nice job of adjusting. You know, they're jam and go unders, the way they guard ball screens. Then they came with a hard hedge. Then they came with a trap. They have shown us multiple ways to defend Penna, and it requires all of that game planning. When you have a player like Elisa Penna, who's done an absolutely incredible job with 20 first-half points to carry Wake Forest.
Let's take you down to the celebration on the court. Join public address announcer Don Buellins.
Connie Rogers Newsom.
To the NC State Play for K. It is our 13th annual event, and this game is part of the National Play for K Week. A lot of you are first-timers. This is an event that our own legendary Coach Kay Yao created. She had a vision. She had an idea to create a game centered around basketball to celebrate the survivors of cancer. It was those 13 years ago that she had a second bout with cancer and said, I've got to make a difference. And this is when the Kay Yao Play for K was formed. Today, I'm proud to say that Play for K has been played in all 50 states here in America. It's a special day because it's a day of hope. A hope for early detection, hope for increased survival, and mainly a hope for cure. Coach Yao said to me many times, Connie, if we could just have 5,000 schools raise $1,000, that's $5 million. $5 million that we could make a difference. She called 40 of her coaching colleagues in 2005 and said, "Would you join me in my fight?" All 40 said yes. She said, "Let's raise money for cancer research. And oh, by the way, during the game, let's wear something pink, like pink shoelaces, t-shirts, pink basketballs, even have the officials don pink whistles." So, with that said, a spark was ignited across the nation. The next year, 80 schools participated. In that time was Think Pink, or here was Hoop for Hopes. The media caught wind of it as well. They started having televised games for Play for Gay. And here today, it started with our very own coach, Kay Yao, on Kay Yao Court. Raising $5.6 million that we have currently given in grant monies for cancer research is what we've done to date. And I know she is smiling on us right now, but we can do more. Please donate and help those who we're getting ready to honor and celebrate today, because it is a celebration of life, to the KL Cancer Fund. We will put your money to good use. And at this point, I'm turning the reins over to our All-American, our All-Star WNBA player, Chastity Melvin.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, you know why we're here. Everybody knows why we're here, to honor these survivors. So let these ladies come out on the KL court and let's celebrate our survivors today. Come on, ladies.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Sears, and I'm an 18-month cancer survivor. I've attended these games all throughout the years, and I never thought that I would be down on the floor for the halftime celebration like I am today. But I'm so thankful to be here, and I'm thankful for Kay Yao, for the role model and the inspiration that she was, and for teaching me, when life kicks you, let it kick you forward.
That's Donna Sears, a one-year survivor who said she would never be a part, didn't think she'd be a part of the halftime celebration. Was here in the past as a spectator. Now she's leading the first line of survivors onto the court here at Reynolds.
My name is Kay Folsom. My husband and I started supporting the Kay Yao Cancer Fund 11 years ago. Little did I think that I would one day be down here standing as a survivor of breast cancer. I have survived breast cancer 3 years, and my friends behind me likewise, 3 to 5. We thank you for your presence here today, for your contributions that have helped with the research that has made our cancer survival possible. Thank you.
This is supposed to be a celebration. It's exactly what Coach Al would want, to honor and celebrate those that have battled, and it's why she made her battle so public.
So as the celebration for the survivors continues, we'll step aside for a moment and we'll talk more about Coach Yao and Play for K when we come back to Raleigh in just a moment. We're back here in Raleigh, the Survivor Celebration continuing here at halftime on the court. Play for K Day 2018, 13th year here at NC State. You can see it all, dozens and dozens and dozens of survivors being applauded here at NC State. Of course, legendary coach Kay Yao fought a very public battle with cancer, but in her relentless fashion, she saw an opportunity to help others Here's a look at Kay Yow from those who knew her best.
I never questioned why am I going through this. It's a part of the overall plan. I just prayed to the Lord that give me a purpose.
I remember when Kay was really, really sick, I went to see her and she talked to me about forming an organization, her dreams for an organization that would fight cancer, especially breast cancer, and help other women win that battle.
I know what it is, the battle for your life, like so many people in this country are doing, and I feel blessed by the Lord to have been given an opportunity to be a part of making a difference.
Coach Yow was a master teacher, but she was a master student. She learned through her own teaching and through asking questions.
To have somebody such as Kay that is so highly regarded and such a passionate person about this cause, to look at her and how she handled her walk through cancer. You don't find that many people that are that gracious in such difficult times.
I've gone personally from the lows to the highs, as I know many of you have in life. As I battle cancer and then I come out and have a court named for me, have a great team of players and staff, and win this game, I can't say what it really gives me a great lift in a lot of ways.
Being a part of this game gives you a chance to pause and go, how do we use this game to give back? How do we use this game to raise money for research for all women's cancers?
We're doing that, and we're doing it at a very high level, and we're doing it at a very successful level, and I think when she watches the games and she thinks about what we're doing and how we're carrying out her vision, I think she'd be really proud that everybody is all in on trying to make a difference.
I can see her walking around smiling with her head shaking and talking to everyone. I mean, that smile, and I just think that she will just be glowing right now.
Even today, the Kay Yow Foundation, with her name on it, is still giving and making life better for so many.
More than $5 million already invested back in the lives of people. Kay would be so proud of that. And Kay would say, but we can do more.
We are at halftime, NC State with a 40-34 lead, and we are celebrating Kay Yow, her spirit, and everything that the fund has meant and has done for people fighting the battle with cancer. You can see since 2007, the fund has $5.63 million working in grants. 4 of those are $1 million grants. We have terrific partners. And the Kay Yow Play for Kay event here at NC State is the epicenter of what we do in the Play for Kay initiative. And I'm joined by Stephanie Glantz, the CEO of the Kay Yow Cancer Fund for the last 2.5 years. And Stephanie, we've been in this battle for a long time with Coach Yow, and you were a 15-year assistant with her. Give strength, give support, give money. What do you think she would say?
Oh, she would be so humbled and so grateful to everybody who has donated to the Kay Yow Cancer Fund and the support against all women's cancers. And she would want to hope that this does give hope for others. And she would say to all of us many of the things that she lived by. When life kicks you, let it kick you forward. She would say, don't wallow in self-pity, you'll drown. Just swish your feet a little and get out. And she would say, we have little or no control over what happens to us in life, but we have 100% control of how we will respond.
The most popular Yowisms, I think, that we've ever. Okay, so when I come in here, I used to leave here in tears. I leave with a smile on my face. How do you leave?
Yeah, uplifted, completely hopeful that we will find a cure, but knowing in the meantime, we are impacting the lives of others who are battling cancer and giving them better quality of life through funding research and helping to serve the underserved.
What would be the most important initiatives and things and messaging you'd want people to know about right now about what the fund is doing and what we're doing moving forward?
The fund is a national organization. 85% of our funding comes from the sport of women's basketball, and we're moving into corporate and business, and we want to grow and continue to impact people's lives and complete the vision and the mission that Coach Yow had for this fund.
Now, the one thing that I know as one of the 150 former players that played for her, it's always about doing more. It was on the floor, it was run a little harder, work a little stronger, be a little bit faster in all the things that you do.
Right.
What do you think she would say when she saw this effort?
She would be so grateful, but she would always say, just give your very best. And your very best is enough. And so that's what we're asking everybody out there. Just give what you can to the KL Cancer Fund, donate at KL.com, and just give your very best. And to all the survivors out there, just keep fighting. And she would say, press on.
Stephanie, you've been a terrific manager of the fund for 2.5 years. What are some things that you need people to activate on right now?
We'd love for you to support us at KL.com. There is a national free throw challenge going on across the country. Fans can pledge for their school for how many free throws the players hit in the month of February. Those funds go directly to the KL Cancer Fund. And we have Play for K initiatives all across the country, raising money in a number of ways. It's simple to get involved, and we'd love to have everybody join us.
Stephanie, you are doing a heck of a job, and I know Coach Al would be proud of you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. You're a rock star now.
You.
Keep leading. We need you.
Deb.
Stephanie Glantz, the CEO of the KL Cancer Fund, joining us here at halftime. NC State with a 6-point lead. We've got more coming up on the other side. Stick around and give to the KL Cancer Fund.
When you come into Reynolds Coliseum on KL Court with KL Hall of Fame banner up in the ceiling, it's a little more special. Coach Al was all about others, giving. Even today, the KL Foundation, with her name on it, is still giving and making life better for so many.
Wes Moore, an assistant under Kay Yao, 93 to 95. This is my first time here. It's an unbelievable facility. You were right, Deb. You told me that was going to be a great halftime. It really was. Now let's turn our attention to basketball. And what you saw in the first half was really good second quarter, especially shooting for NC State to take a lead at halftime.
I think the entire game plan is how do you slow down Elisa Penna. She was absolutely fantastic for Wake Forest. 20 first half points. It forced Wes Moore to change the way he defended ball screening action, but it didn't matter. She had the hot hand. She was able to create space for herself. Wake Forest got the ball to her where she could be effective, and she was able to catch and shoot her one dribble off a screen. You got to make her move her feet. You got to force her to take tough twos. And on the other side, Ace Koenig says, hey, I can knock down some triples as well. She had 2 threes. And then Ely was fantastic rim to rim off the bounce. NC State's speed and athleticism needs to become a factor on the defensive end, especially in the matchup with Elisa Penna.
Penna had 20 points in the first half, 5 of 6 from outside the three-point line, 6 of 8 overall from the floor. But in that second quarter, NC State shot 62% as a team, and now shooting 58% from the floor. And that's why they are on top as they start quarter number 3. It's Wake Forest basketball, first possession. And last touch, they draw up a pretty good play out of the locker room to start the half, but unable to finish was Udo.
Really good execution. Udo's got to catch and finish. Chelsea Nelson will be on the defensive assignment on Elisa Penna to start the second half.
Nelson outstanding offensively, 12 points, 5 of 7 from the field. She also had 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, and assist as well. And here she is. She goes down in the lane, possession arrow on the tie-up, NC State.
Well, that was interesting because there was no foul, there was no travel. NC State's going to get the ball back.
Chelsea was smiling a little bit at that. Maybe it felt like maybe she got away with something.
Everybody's got a place just kind of went silent, right? What happened?
Down in the foul. Mays.
Now here you go, Eric. One way to get Penna is to make her play defense. And so Wes Moore right away goes inside to Akila Mays, who's got the Penna matchup. That's a foul on the elbow. Akila Mays doing a nice job turning and scoring over the top.
And that's the second personal foul on Penna.
Good three-point play the old-fashioned way on senior night for Akila Mays.
The 2 seniors for NC State, Nelson and Mays, combining for 19 as NC State has stretched it out to a 9-point lead. It's their largest lead. And another tie-up. It'll be Wake Forest basketball. There you see Elisa Penna, the junior, hitting the 20-point mark for the 8th time this season. Trying to get her free. Nelson staying right with her. Nelson getting on the glass, and it's going to be a foul on Chelsea Nelson. There's the head coach of the NC State men's basketball program. Win over Wake Forest yesterday for Kevin Keats and the Wolfpack. They're 18-9 on the season. Beat Syracuse this week as well.
Did he look like he was getting ready to yell at the official right now? No, Kevin Keats has done a phenomenal job. He is, he has just changed the whole spirit of NC State basketball this season. And right now, Charlie Cream has him in the tournament, so that would be an incredible coaching job by Kevin Keats. He could be Coach of the Year in the ACC on the men's side.
They introduced him in the first half, and just about everybody in this building got up to give him a standing ovation. That doesn't happen too often for someone just into their time here in Raleigh.
And you know what, Eric? This gives us a chance to mention Debbie Yao, the athletic director here, who is Kay Yao's sister. Debbie grew up going to Reynolds Coliseum, and Debbie was responsible for this beautiful renovation in this building, hiring Wes Moore and hiring Kevin Keats. And so, you know, I know Debbie, it's an emotional day for her because we celebrate Kay and her older sister and what she meant to her. But you see Stephanie Glantz there talking to Kevin Keats right now. And next to John and Sue Gibbs, who are big fans and friends of the Kay Yao Cancer Fund. It's great to see them here in Raleigh celebrating as well.
Amber Campbell picked up the personal foul. They work it inside for Mays. She's got 9. And as I mentioned, it's my first time here. I'm glad you invited me to join you here today because you are the mayor of Raleigh, and you walk through this building, you can't get 2 feet without somebody grabbing Debbie Antonelli to start talking, a hug, a kiss, a hello. I'm surprised you made it to the table for the opening tip.
The thing I want to just say one thing about coming in this building, there are a lot of ushers that are still here when I played. And when you walk by, they say, that's one of Kay's girls. That's how you get referenced, and I love that.
That's a pretty good compliment.
It's a very nice compliment.
Koenig can't hit. Kept alive by Nelson, who gets it back. Nelson gets fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line. Senior from Tennessee. He's been playing pretty well right from the opening tip here on senior day. Udo picks up the personal. That's number 3. And already 3 team fouls on Wake. Nelson can't hit the first, 70% free throw shooter, 3rd in the conference in rebounding, leading the team in scoring. Went for a double-double in the first meeting against Wake Forest this season, coming off a double-double against UNC. Can't connect at the free throw line, and Penna has the rebound for Wake. Sharp. Stevenson. And a foul is called on Wake Forest's Whitehead.
That's 4 team fouls on Wake Forest. NC State is not that great of a free throw shooting team. So they consider about getting in the bonus, concerned about bonus early, but there you see a little push out of bounds.
Well, NC State is not a great free throw shooting team at 65%, but they're great at getting to the line. 8th in the country in free throws attempted. In fact, opponents have attempted just 2 more field goals than NC State has made, so they make a living at the line. If they could shoot at a higher percentage, they'd really be in business. Outside the three-point line, Koenig gets her 3rd 3.
Really great job by Kiara Leslie driving the baseline, and Koenig sliding into her vision.
Double-digit lead for the Wolfpack, looking for their 21st win of the season and their 10th in conference play. Conti for Sharp. And a foul called on Whitehead.
You know, one of the things that I know I hear Wes Moore say to his team is don't overhelp, don't overhelp. Guard your player. See, right there, that was a wide open look for Wake. They didn't knock it down, but Leslie might have overhelped.
It's going to be 2 free throws already for NC State here in the quarter. 6.5 go in the quarter, and Jen Hoover takes a timeout with her team down by 12, 3rd quarter here in Raleigh. Back in Raleigh, Dr. Debbie Yao, hard at work.
A phenomenal
Always
job.
working hard here.
You know, one of the things that Debbie Yao wanted to do when she came to NC State was get NC State in the top 10 in the President's Cup for all sports, and they are. They were below 100. Every sport here is thriving, succeeding. This is a big day on campus. Wrestling is after here. Softball's going on. Swim meets happening. There's all kinds. Baseball's getting ready to crank up. He's done a phenomenal job here at NC State, and this building would make her sister so proud of what she's done in this place. $35 million renovation, and anybody who's ever been in here walks away just absolutely stunned by the way it's been preserved.
And it's not just what you're seeing on camera here. This looks pretty nice, but you walk in that front door, Hall of Fame Museum, just going back to the timeline of what's happened here at NC State in many sports, not just women's basketball. Another trip to the free throw line coming up here for NC State. We're going to see a lot of foul shots here for the Wolfpack. They're already in the bonus in the third quarter as Leslie steps to the line to shoot a couple.
So for Jen Hoover and Wake Forest, Penn has scored 20 of their 36. Someone has to help her. So they've got to get on the glass. They've got to do a better job of getting stops. They have plenty of time to get back in the game.
Well, more importantly, Penna has only attempted one shot here in the third quarter. So they are not letting her get a touch. And NC State continues to stretch out their lead. They've outscored Wake 11-2 here in the third quarter. Make it 12-2.
You take a look at why this game's important. Charlie Cream has projected 8 teams from the ACC and 2 #1 seeds. And you see NC State on the 4 line. That would mean the Wolfpack would get to host. The top 4 seeds host, and that would be a big deal here because the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee knows this place will be sold out.
Penna off for Campbell. 5 to shoot. Campbell lost the handle, and the officials confer. Debbie Brooks says it will be NC State basketball. And I want to give a shout out, not just because she's running right in front of us, to Debbie Brooks, because she requested to be here today on K-Yow Day. She is a cancer, Denise Brooks, I'm sorry. She is a cancer survivor. And she seemed to be the happiest person to be here in this building here today.
She had an option. Norlin Finch, who's Associate Commissioner of the ACC, asked Denise Brooks if she would like to participate in this game, and she said absolutely. And she had the year off last year, and she's back, and we spoke to her before the game. She's healthy, and she looks great. And she's happy, yes. She's doing terrific.
Denise with Carla Fountain and Mark Hardcastle here today. Rebounded by Nelson and handed off to Ely.
Listen to me on this, Eric. You know, I work in the WNBA. I'm telling you right now, Chelsea Nelson's got to be moving up the charts a little bit. She's athletic, she's skilled, her handle needs to improve, her range needs to get better, but she can defend multiple positions. I'm going to start talking about her from a WNBA standpoint.
All right.
Why not?
The campaign has begun. Koenig into double figures now with 11.
Well, the good news for NC State and Koenig is she's just a sophomore. And it came down to between NC State and Stanford, and Westmore was able to get a great recruit away from Tara Vanderveer. That doesn't happen very often.
She came off the bench last year, played 19 games, 17 minutes a game, but has really stepped up. Another player getting an opportunity with that backcourt turnover to play big minutes this year and make the most of it. Well, this quarter has been all Wolfpack. They've outscored Wake 14-2. They have taken Penna completely out of the mix offensively. And Wake's on a 5-minute scoreless drought. Leslie tries it from outside, followed her miss, and gets the rebound.
Look at the hustle.
Trying to feed Mays on the cut. It'll be Wake ball when we come back.
Ace Koenig, a little footwork, a little spin on the baseline. A nice finish for the three-point shooter with a tough 2.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Infinity, Empower the Drive, and M&M, always fun.
Seats from halftime, the Survivor celebration on the court here. Play for K-Day, 13th year at NC State. You can support the K-Yow Cancer Fund, partnership with the WBCA, the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Donate at kyow.com. Funds raised will go to women's cancer research. And as Deb talked with Stephanie Glantz at halftime, this is nationwide, but this is where it all began 13 years ago here in Raleigh.
Coach Yow just wanted to recognize survivors. She wanted to have a celebration, and boy, what a party it's turned into. If you can help, it doesn't matter what you can give as long as you can get involved. We need your help. And the money is going to research. We have 4 $1 million research grants working right now, and it's very impactful, and it's making a difference. And I will tell you this, I know from Coach Yau's own words that, you know, the clinical trials that she was a part of helped extend her life. You can help make a difference and give somebody a better quality of life. So please give.
Whistle and a foul called. It's amazing when you think Coach Yao was first diagnosed 1987.
Yes.
And that's right after you finished playing for her, a year after you left.
Right before she became the 1988 Olympic coach, and there was questions as to whether her health would be good enough to allow her to coach the Olympic team. Well, they won a gold medal in 1988. Couldn't have won it without her.
She had 3 separate fights with cancer, right? I mean, you talk about a fighter.
Yes.
We've seen fight on the back of one of the jerseys here today. I think it's Chelsea Nelson's honor to wear that one here today. I mean, that's...
Kay Yao has one of the most decorated basketball careers, including the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. And when I look at the 737 career wins, she wants and always has said 738 should be a win over cancer. And I want to say this because in the ACC, this is one of the most ironic things about Kay Yao's most decorated career is that she's in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, Eric, never was ACC Coach of the Year.
Hard to believe.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? And Wes has been twice ACC Coach of the Year. And, you know, Jeff Walls at Louisville and Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame, along with Wes Moore, the 3 of them are in the conversation.
All deserving.
Yes.
I think, as you mentioned, as one of Kay's kids, one of Kay's players, you'll take the Springfield honor.
Right.
That's a pretty good one
Exactly.
to have for your coach. Getting into the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Wes has had an incredible career himself. You saw his numbers there. This was a team that wasn't supposed to be in the NCAA tournament. With all that they lost last year and what they had coming back, that's why it's phenomenal what Wes and his coaching staff have done. And they would give the credit right back to the players in the time they spent this summer in the gym.
First points of the second half for Alex Sharp. She has 5 as Wake Forest got off to a good start in this game. They had an 8-0 run in the first quarter. They led by a point after 1. But NC State with a big second quarter, led by 6 at halftime. They've stretched it out here to as much as 19. And they'll add to it here. Koenig knocks down another 3-pointer. 14 points for Koenig. 4 3-pointers.
A really big game for her. Really nice, didn't force anything, has done a good job defensively guarding her position as well.
Nelson the rebound. The entry pass and the finish.
Beautiful. Low post move, good bounce pass to the block. Akilah Mays at 6'5" can just elevate over the top.
14 points for Mays on senior day. She came in averaging 10 points a game, so above her average. Nelson has played very well. She's right at her scoring average. And the assist here to Ely.
Through the legs of Amber Campbell. You know, for 4 years in watching Akilah Mays and Chelsea Nelson, you really couldn't talk about one without talking about the other. They have been like peanut butter and jelly in their careers at NC State. They've guarded each other in practice. They've pulled each other to the gym. They've demanded more out of the younger players. They've really done a terrific job and have turned into incredible young women.
Penna with a rare look from outside here in the third quarter.
Here's a part of Akilah's family sitting in the stand celebrating.
Penna will get another look here. Just that little breakdown at the top. Penna took a moment and gets her first points of the second half.
Just can't make a mistake on her at all.
23 for Penna. Inside of 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. Wake struggling from the field as NC State, top defensive team in the ACC, giving up 56 points a game, has just clamped down here in the third. Mays in a little bit of trouble. Shot clock down to 4. Ely rebounded by Ratza. Amber Campbell, little crossover to get free. Count it in the foul. Beautiful move by the senior.
With her shoulders over her pads like a running back, probing through the line. Terrific job through traffic, and then with the offhand. Good finish by Amber Campbell, who's been very quiet today.
So she'll try to finish the three-point play to get to 5 points on the game. In the top 10 all-time in scoring at Wake. She's going to take over the all-time minutes played mark here today. 124th start. I mean, she's played a ton.
Listen, she's an incredible young kid, and what a brilliant career she's had at Wake Forest. She's a terrific student. She's going to leave Wake Forest with a degree, with a highly decorated basketball experience, and she's going to go on to do something really great in her life. That's Amber Campbell.
Maybe heating up again. We saw Penna go off in the first quarter, and now Eliza Penna bringing it down to 15.
It's only a 15-point game right here. So Penna is starting to heat back up. Career high 25 for Penna, and we've still got another quarter to play.
She had gone for 24 3 separate times this year. She's got the 25, and there's a foul on Branch for Wake Forest, which will send Armani Hawkins to the free throw line.
After the early start for the Wolfpack, Wake Forest had a pretty good lead in the first quarter. It was 15-7 at one point, I think 16-7. Wes Moore's team turned the ball over, and then they settled down. And you know the emotion of this day with senior day on top of the Play for K initiative is a lot for this team to handle. Last year, they lost this game to Wake Forest. And this year, they just look much better prepared to handle it.
Wake led by 9. You've got it right, Debbie, in the first quarter with 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Was that good of a start for Wake Forest before NC State settled in? Made it a 1-point game by the end of the first quarter and stretched out a lead by halftime. And they will take over. Shot clock is off. One final possession here for the Wolfpack.
All season I've been talking about ticket selling players, like who would you buy a ticket to see? I'd buy a ticket to see Elisa Penna play. I would buy a ticket to see her play in the ACC tournament. I think she's that good.
Hawkins shut off on the drive. There is Penna who grabs it. She's made just about everything today. Can she make one to beat the buzzer? Almost. Took a hard fall too. Contact at the end of the quarter. She gets helped up, but she's in some pain here at the end of 3.
Penna being helped off the floor, but Koenig with a nice turnaround jump shot for 2. And then the skip and the 3. The Wolfpack up 16 as we head to the 4th. When I was a young player in high school, my dream was to play for Coach Al, and it was to play at NC State. And I used to go to Reynolds Coliseum, sit on the railing, right across from the bench, and watch the team and try to take in every single aspect, every detail of what they were doing, what they were running, and where I could see myself fitting in. That was my dream. I had an incredible experience here, and I feel very privileged, like Summer Erb, who was a player for Kay Yow, who helped NC State to the 1998 Final Four. Summer was the 1999 ACC Player of the Year, and during the breaks, we've had several check presentations to the Kay Yow Cancer Fund, and when the checks get presented, as Koenig hits another triple, the former players that are here for our reunion go out and celebrate the check presentation. It's kind of cool, and Summer embodies the spirit of all the players that played for Coach Al.
Kind of cool, very cool.
It's very cool, yes. I was lucky I had a 30-year relationship with my coach from middle school to high school, and I wish everyone would have that kind of experience with their basketball coach.
I got news for you. It's a little beyond 30 years now. Right, now think about it. When you were in middle school, now you have an age today.
Right,
you have an age today.
Man, I still got a jumper. Well, my feet sort of leave the floor. Sure is fun. It sure is fun to be back here. It's great to be here with you, too.
Koenig with 17 points, having another good day against Wake Forest. Went for 20 in the first meeting, making 5 threes. In that meeting, she's made 5 threes in the second meeting this year against Wake.
You know, this is an NC State team. It's got good guard play. They defend at a high level. We know they're a good rebounding team. They got enough shooters around, some go-to low-post players. Very good job by Wes Moore to put this group together, and they all seem to understand their role, play together really well. Now, they've got a couple of tough games left to finish out the schedule. They got to go to Pitt and at Notre Dame, and they beat Notre Dame here last year. I'm sure the players are Enrique Gumbawale and Marina Mabry remember that game here. They'll be gunning for it.
That
That's
is
Koenig.
a heat check for Ace Koenig.
Ace Koenig, you go ahead and shoot till your arm falls off. 4 triples in the game for Ace.
She has matched her season high scoring against Wake. So Koenig, you're selling her short. 6 3-pointers. One final thing about your playing days.
Woo!
What is happening with this hair
Oh
right
my
here?
gosh.
I mean, now, we're the same age, so this is what the 80s was all about.
Totally the style, man. Totally with it.
You are setting the style.
I don't know what to say about that.
Sometimes it's better left unsaid.
What is most impressive to me about that shot is it looks like I was actually driving to the basket. You
It
know,
looked
that
like a
one,
stage shot. Maybe it was on photo day.
Yeah.
Penna picks up the personal foul as Leslie will go to the free throw line. A reminder, big matchup in the American men's basketball. The Shockers and the Bearcats coming up 4 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Also available on the ESPN app today. Cincinnati suffering their first conference loss.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Clark, if you haven't seen him play, 6'8" and a senior, averaging 13-9 and a couple of assists. And we all know that, you know, Wichita State's move to the American has been really good for them, but really good year for Cincinnati.
Ely almost with a steal, taken back by Campbell. Got to go back to 1981 to find the last time Wichita State met with Cincinnati in basketball. 7:20 to go. Up next on ESPNU, by the way, pretty big women's basketball matchup. Tennessee and Mizzou. Mizzou has won 4 in a row. Both teams identical records, 21-5 overall, 9-4 in the SEC.
I had Tennessee the other night in their loss at home to Alabama. 4 in a row that Christy Curry's team has beaten the Lady Vols, which has really made us go to the record book and dig up, like, how many times has that happened? It hasn't happened very often in the modern era that, I say modern, I mean past the 80s, that anybody beat Tennessee 4 times in a row. In Missouri, Sophie Cunningham is a terrific player, is a potential All-American candidate, one of the most efficient players you're going to come across. She can shoot the 3, she drives it, very good at passing, and Robin Pinchton's Missouri team does a terrific job of playing together inside a very well thought out scouting report. So I can't wait to watch that one myself.
That's coming up next after we're done here in Raleigh. It's been 5 years since Missouri beat Tennessee.
That place will be jumping there today in Columbia, Missouri.
Tigers winners of 4 straight, and the 4-game winning streak for Tennessee was snapped by that game you called, Alabama and Tennessee.
Good patience here by Akila Mays not to turn it over.
D.D. Rogers back to Koenig.
Good hands.
Into the hands of Mays. Great senior day for Akila Mays. 17 points to go along with 3 rebounds and an assist.
I've been impressed with NC State being able to adjust their ball screening defense. Usually it's jam and go under, and they've had to hedge and go over. So you could tell that Wes Moore's got his team prepared for any situation and any adjustment that they need to make in game.
I shorted the senior 1 point. I want to give her credit on senior day because it is her day. 18 points for Mays. 2 shy of her career high. Five on the shot clock. Koenig, beautiful feed, but the finish not there for Mays.
See, that's
Ace Koenig is like, that is an assist that was going to end up on my highlight reel.
That would be what you would call a coach's assist. When Wes Moore breaks down the film, Koenig did everything she was supposed to do right. Poise, patience, time management, drive, a little shake and bake, drop it off. Mays just didn't finish it. That would be an assist for a coach watching film. That's an old Dean Smith thing here in Tobacco Road. You got to reference Coach Smith.
No question.
Coach Yao was a big fan of Dean Smith.
Great hustle play by Ely, who turned the ball over on one end, but she made up for it using that speed just across half court. NC State has just taken control of this game after a very slow start. Got their footing in the second quarter. Stretched it out with a huge third quarter when they outscored Wake 21-11. Leslie. Wild shot. And a rebound for Maya Banks into the game for Wake Forest.
You know, NC State hasn't had very many bad possessions offensively. That was probably the worst one that they've had.
Campbell. Rebound pulled down by Mays. Ely accelerates to the basket. There's a block by Penna.
Good
hustle play by Rogers.
Good defense. They blocked the shot by Penna.
And official stops play, and that will get us to a timeout. We'll take it as well as they sort things out on the court with 4:46 to go with the fourth quarter, and NC State rolling in Raleigh.
You find yourself fighting the toughest foe of all, cancer. You become determined, and you're going to persevere. I've had one of the greatest opportunities of my life to be a part of forming a foundation that can make a difference in the lives of so many people. We're on the same team, battling for the same cause. It's a win-win situation.
Support the Kay Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation. Donate at www.kyow.com.
Well, if you live in the greater Raleigh area and you're planning on painting a room pink, you're going to have to wait a few weeks for them to get the hot pink back in stock because I think that whole section behind the basket here at Reynolds, they dipped themselves in pink to celebrate Play for K game, 13th annual here at NC State. It's been a great atmosphere right from the very start. Great crowd, full house here at Kay Yow Courts. Fourth quarter, it's been an impressive performance for NC State. Trying to make it 9 wins in their last 10 games, trying to improve to 14-2 here on their home floor. Rogers shut off on the drive, and it'll be a shot clock violation. Wake Forest basketball.
Aislinn Koenig must love playing against Wake Forest. She had 20 points the first time they met. She's got 20 again here this afternoon.
Added together, 11 three-pointers made in those 2 games. Six coming here today. Penn has been frustrated here in the second half as NC State watched her go off for 20 in the first half, but she's been held to 5 points here in the second half.
You know, Dee Dee Rogers came in the game and at the end of the second quarter had the assignment on Penna for about 2 minutes. Did a tremendous job. She's on her again. NC State had to rotate multiple defenders on her, but look, even that time, Rogers is kind of like, Wes, I'm there. My hands are up contesting. She still is fantastic.
That's how good Penna is. She adds to her career high now at 28 points. Now, what will the coach say when looking at that tape? Is that...
You say good defense,
good
better
job.
offense.
Yeah, right.
And I am perfectly fine with that. Watch Penna here. Late shot clock catch. Gets her feet set under her shoulders. Beautiful.
She was held to 7 points in the first meeting with NC State, but making up for lost time here today. 28 points.
Well, she was in foul trouble the first time. Didn't really get in rhythm. Look at this right here, wide open. The cleanest look she's had all day. Fantastic. Elisa Penna, 31.
31 of the 55 for Penna. Hawkins out of the scramble takes a shot. Door opening up just a little bit here for Wake Forest as NC State had taken control of this game, but Wake getting a couple of threes from Penna. Get a quick shot from NC State, and they've got it back. Can Sharp add to it?
You got to go right back to Penna. Is there any doubt?
Rotza, she'll answer with a three-pointer. Hang on a second.
Now you get a little nervous. You got to handle it right here. This is where you see some maturity and growth in your team.
And a timeout called by Westmore.
Well, there are 24 seconds on the shot clock. They might not have gotten it past midcourt.
3 threes for Wake. A 9-0 run to make it a 12-point game in the fourth. Join Kenny Mayne and John Buccigross on SportsCenter, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. They will bring you the best moments and sounds from a historic night at the NBA All-Star Game, plus how the Daytona 500 will impact the start of the NASCAR season. To find out the Mets plans for Tim Tebow, that's SportsCenter, 11 p.m. Eastern, also on the ESPN app. Foul called on Alex Sharp out of the timeout. That'll be the 4th team foul on Wake Forest.
Well, you did not want to commit that foul with 2 seconds to get the ball across the timeline. NC State really struggling to get the ball across midcourt. No points for the Wolfpack in the last 4 minutes.
9 straight points for Wake Forest.
Wake back to the zone. They've done a good job in the zone today.
2.5 to play in the fourth. Koenig into Mays, back to Koenig. She's had the hot touch, not this time, but guess who ducks inside on the offensive glass? The freshman from Raleigh, Clyde Crutchfield, just into the game for the first time. Just got into the right spot.
When you have the team speed that NC State has, you can crash the glass from the perimeter, and that's what she did. Koenig had a good look, and Crutchfield did a great job of reading the glass.
First point for the freshman. Been playing on average 10 minutes a game. Delivers at the line. 5 team fouls on Wake Forest. NC State has not committed a team foul here in the fourth quarter, as Wake Forest will bring it up. They've made 3 straight 3-pointers to get within shouting distance. Still down double figures, though.
Well, look at Penna work off that screening action. Terrific timing on a feed. Alyssa Penna, come on. She's shaking her head. You can't guard me. It's an 11-point game. NC State's got to play to win right here.
And they take the shot.
That's probably not a good shot to take.
Early in the shot clock, so Wake Forest with 1:45 to go. Penna with 34 points. They try to drive it to the basket. That'll be the first team foul on NC State here in this quarter. 34 points, 9 of 12 from outside the 3-point line.
9 triples, what a performance by Alyssa Penna.
You know, we joked around that she needed 45 points to get to 1,000 in her career.
We didn't think we were going to see it today, did we?
This could get her even closer.
Well, she was too close that time. Yes, call for the ball, Penna, right here. Absolutely.
A little too strong for 3, and a rebound pulled down by Nelson.
You got to move the ball here. You got to get a good shot. I'd look to go to Chelsea Nelson or Akila Mays on the block. Good slip. Good skip. Much better possession by the Wolfpack.
Shot clock is now down to 5. And an offensive rebound. Leslie grabs it.
Jen Hoover calling for a team to foul. Oh, good pass. That's not the foul you want to commit, though.
Count it, and the foul for Akila Mays. A fitting conclusion to senior day, as she has played a great game here for the Wolfpack.
The seniors have been impressive. Mays and Nelson, they've had terrific games on the stat line, and Koenig has had a great game as well. Not just scoring the basketball, but distributing it as well. Another offensive rebound.
Pulled away by Leslie. Wake Forest doesn't look like they'll foul, or maybe they will. Well, Sharp's just going to play good defense, and now Sharp will drop back.
Right. Still got to take a shot here.
Koenig showing the handle, tried to feed it into Mays. Back outside Leslie.
No, Kiera had the shot for three.
Batted away and a turnover.
Mays with the steal. And that will put the capper on it for the Wolfpack.
Timeout called by Westmore just to make a substitution here.
Wants to get his seniors out.
Mays heads to the bench. 18 points on 7 of 9 shooting, 4 rebounds in her 30 minutes. And Chelsea Nelson didn't score in the second half, had 12 first half points, but also had 9 rebounds, and you saw her all over the floor right from the start today.
Had to defend Penna, had some opportunity there. What a terrific job by the Wolfpack on this day, which means so much to the NC State family and the K-Yao family.
Final seconds here at Reynolds. Koenig trying to dribble out the clock, and she will. It was a celebration before the game and at halftime, and at the end of the game, it's a celebration for NC State to win. 74-61 the final over Wake Forest. Win number 21 for the Wolfpack, and now 10-4 in the conference. Further helping out this national resume.
No question, when you look at the overall record, the RPI, the wins on the road, the women don't have the quadrant wins or the advanced analytics, but NC State with 21 wins is working towards playing into the double bye in the ACC tournament with a win over Florida State, which gives them the tiebreaker. They got to have a strong finish to be able to stay on that top line.
And you want your seniors to play well on senior day, and that was the case today for NC State.
There's no question that Chelsea Nelson and Akila Mays did a fantastic job rebounding, defending, protecting the rim, and then scoring the basketball for NC State.
It's a win for the Wolfpack, 74-61 the final. They're on a pretty good run right now. They've won 9 of their last 10 games, and they win here at home against Wake Forest to improve to 21-6 on the season and 10-4 in the ACC. And joining us now courtside is the head coach of the Wolfpack, Wes Moore. Congratulations. Had the battle there. The first quarter was a little bit of a slow start, but it's an emotional day for this team.
You know, this is a double emotional game. First of all, because of Kay Yao, her legacy and all that she's done for NC State and for cancer research. And then also we have our seniors here playing their final home game. So I was concerned about how we'd come out to start the game, for sure.
Wes, picked to finish 10th in the league. Now you're sitting on potentially the 4 line for the NCAA tournament. 21 wins, possibly double bye in the ACC tournament. Where have you seen this team make the greatest strides?
You know, I just couldn't be prouder of them. We lost 4 seniors that were top 4 scorers, and you know, we started out 1-3 in the league, and then they played defense. They bought into really trying to take away team strengths and done a great job on the boards. For the most part, today wasn't always great, but you know, I just couldn't be prouder of the way they have turned it around. And you know, it says a lot about their character and determination.
You had a team with 4 seniors last year. You have a team with 2 seniors this year, and on senior day they played pretty well.
Yeah, we're gonna miss them too. Yeah, we're gonna miss. We'll probably be picked 10th again in the preseason. You know,
that's all right. You like it that way.
Yeah, I do. I kind of like laying low in the grass. I like that.
Wes, let's talk a little bit about in-game adjustment. I know you're a jam and go under. You had to hard hedge and go over. You had to change your ball screening. Elisa Penna.
Yeah, she's something.
There was no defending her today.
No, we tried different people. That's the thing. You can't let players like that get happy. You know, they start getting happy, you're in trouble. And I knew we were. She had 20 points at halftime. We tried a variety of people on her. We started trying to trap a little bit, although you couldn't see it. But got to give her a lot of credit. I mean, she's got good length. She can shoot with a lot of range. And so even if you get a hand up, she finds a way to make it.
Wes, what are the next things that your team needs to do? You got 2 regular season games left before the tournament. What are you going to be planning to get ready for?
Well, again, I look at one at a time, so I haven't really looked a whole lot. You know, I know, of course, you know, Pitt. We got them coming up on the road. It's always a tough game up there. And then you go to Notre Dame, who, again, Muffet's done an unbelievable job with all the injuries they've had and that sort of thing. So those are two big challenges for us. We'll enjoy this one for a few hours, but yeah, we'll definitely get on those. And like I said, our kids have done a really good job of buying into what you have to take away to be successful, and they've done a good job.
Good job yourself.
Well,
congratulations.
Thank you all. Appreciate everything. And again, Coach Al, special for her, and great day.
Yeah, it was a great day, and it ends with a win for NC State. They knock off Wake Forest here today at Reynolds Coliseum by a final score of 74-61. Lisa Penna leading all scores here today with 34 points, but it's NC State with 4 in double figures, led by Koenig's 20. They win it 74-61, the final. Up next on ESPNU, great showdown, more women's basketball. Tennessee taking on Missouri in the SEC. For Debbie Antonelli and our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. Once again, the final. NC State wins it 74-61. So long as we send you to Columbia.